Hey guys, it's JaaackJack and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm showing you guys what I eat in a day. Actually, this is more of a what I cook in the day because I'm going to be showing you guys everything I cook today, including the meat that I make for my boyfriend Johnny, because you guys know I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. So here's what I cook in a day, starting with breakfast. So I'm having egg, tomato, onion, and rice. It is a classic Filipino dish my mom would always make for breakfast. So just like I said, you'll need eggs, onion, tomato, and then some leftover rice. So you want to start off by cutting up and dicing the tomatoes as well as the onions. So once you have all of those diced up in a bowl, you want to go ahead and crack your 2 eggs and then just kind of beat and mix those together. And then on a pan with a little bit of oil, you want to go ahead and cook up the onions, add the tomato in there, and once those are nice and like sauteed together, you can go ahead and pour in the egg mixture to create the scrambled eggs. And we're just gonna let that cook together. And then because my rice is leftover rice, I need to heat it up because I just pulled it out of the refrigerator. So I'm actually just going to plop the rice right here on the pan until it's nice and warm and then serve it on a plate. And bada bing, bada boom, there is breakfast. And it's super good. I don't eat this all the time. It's very filling, but when I do eat it, it reminds me of my mom's cooking. So I really like this meal. I didn't make anything for Johnny for breakfast. He normally doesn't like to eat breakfast, so I just had to worry about myself. Now moving on to lunch, you guys, this is one of my favorite go-to meals. It's the sweet kale salad with garbanzo beans and pierogies. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So obviously you'll need garbanzo beans, frozen pierogies, and then sweet kale salad. This kit is so yummy. So I'm gonna first start off by putting my garbanzo beans on a baking tray. I'm gonna season it with a little salt and pepper, oregano, a little what is this? Garlic powder. Oh my gosh, why I just had like a brain fart. Garlic powder. And I'm gonna do the same with the pierogies, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw those in the oven for about 20 minutes. Let those get nice and toasty. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and make my salad, which takes like 2 seconds. This is the sweet kale salad kit. It is so good. I love the little cranberries in there, all the peanuts and or not peanuts, but like the nuts in there. And then it has a poppy seed dressing. So I'm going to mix those all up together. So yummy. This salad on its own is already delicious, but if you throw in the baked garbanzo beans and pierogies, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering just watching this. It's the best thing ever. And for lunch from my boyfriend Johnny, he actually requested that I make him spam musubi. I think that's how you say it. This is one of Johnny's favorites. So you'll need rice, spam, sushi nori, and then soy sauce, sugar, and cooking wine to make your own homemade teriyaki sauce. So this is only my second time making this, but Johnny really likes it. So I'm gonna start off by making rice because I ate the rest of our leftover rice for breakfast. So I needed to make some more. So you just rinse it out and then do the little measuring trick with your hand and then go ahead and cook that for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and work on my teriyaki sauce, which I don't do measurements for this. So I just add the soy sauce, some cooking wine, and the sugar, and just kind of add to taste basically. So I would just mix that up, and then I had Johnny like come and try it, and he said he liked it. So there it is. So now you want to take your spam out and go ahead and cut them up. You can cut up and make about like 8, I think. And then you're gonna go ahead and throw that onto a pan with some sesame oil. I like using sesame oil for this recipe. And so I'm just going to cook those up a little bit. And once they're nice and golden, I'm gonna go ahead and pour in our little homemade sauce. And you're just going to keep cooking those together until the sauce kind of thickens up and caramelizes a little bit. And then you know you're done. So the next step is to make our rice molds, and you want to use the Spam container packaging for this. So I'm going to take that and then line it with some plastic wrap, and I'm just going to use my spoon to gently push that down. Then you want to grab your rice and go ahead and put a few scoops of rice in there, and then you're going to take your spoon and just press the rice down and make it as tight and compact as possible. You want to really squish the rice together at the bottom, and it's going to create that shape that fits the Spam so perfectly. And now with your sushi nori, the little seaweed wraps, you're gonna go ahead and cut those into thirds Doesn't have to be perfect, but cutting them into thirds is like the perfect size to wrap around the rice and the Spam. So you want to place your Spam right on top of the bed of rice, take your sushi wrap, lay that on top, and then pick it up and just kind of wrap it together. And then to kind of seal the end, just take a little bit of water on your finger, and the water kind of acts like glue against the sushi wrap. And that is it for the Spam musubi, and Johnny loved it. So now moving on to dinner time, I decided to do chow mein and rice, and for the chow mein I decided to use a Panda Express recipe that I found online. I'll leave it linked below. So you'll need Asian style noodles, cabbage, celery, onion and garlic, green onions, ginger, and then for the sauce, sugar, soy sauce, cooking wine, oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, and then a little bit of sesame oil. So starting with our sauce, we're going to add the soy sauce in there. We're going to add our sugar, the cooking oil, or cooking wine, I should say, oyster sauce, the hoisin sauce, the sesame oil, and then some garlic. And then we're also going to chop up some of the green onions, and we're going to take the bottom half versus the top half of the green onions. And then I'm also going to chop up a little bit of ginger. I actually wish I did a little bit less. This was kind of too much ginger, like overall. So if you're watching this and recreating it, just chop up less. But I'll have the recipe and ingredients in the description box for you guys. So once the sauce is done, we'll put that off to the side and go ahead and cook the chow mein, just following the directions on the packaging. And then now I'm going to chop up our veggies that are going to go in the chow mein. So we've got our cabbage, so I'm just going to chop this baby up. And then we're also going to cut up some onions as well as some celery. So the noodles actually don't take very long to cook. So once those are done, we're going to go ahead and drain those. I'm just throwing that into my little strainer here. And then you want to rinse it with cold water right away. And I'm going to just set that off to the side, but I'm going to take the pot that I was cooking in, since it's still hot. I'm going to rinse it with cold water just to cool the pot down, because my strainer is like plasticky, so I don't want that to burn. So once the pot is cooled down and it's like cool to the touch, you can go ahead and place your strainer right on top to catch any excess water while we work on all the veggies. So now we're going to go ahead and saute our onions with the celery and cabbage in some sesame oil. I think sesame oil is just the best when you're making Asian dishes. It just makes the food so flavorful and delicious. So I'm going to just saute those in a giant pot, and then we'll add the cabbage, which I know this looks like a lot, but they're going to wilt down a little bit, and then we're also going to throw in the noodles, and it's like a perfect balance of everything. So now we're going to throw in our cold noodles, cook that in together, and we're going to top it off with our chow mein sauce that we made earlier. So I'm just going to pour that all in, mix it all around, and that is how you make the chow mein, the Panda Express style recipe. And I'm just going to eat that with some rice, and that is my dinner, and it's so yummy. And for Johnny's dinner, I'm also serving him some rice and chow mein, but I've also decided to try out the Beijing Beef Panda Express recipe as well. So you'll need the steak, eggs and garlic, bell pepper and onions, sugar and cornstarch, soy sauce, sweet chili sauce, oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, apple cider vinegar, canola oil, ketchup, and then some salt and crushed red peppers. I know, it's a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up into like the little bite-sized pieces that Beijing beef normally looks like. And then you want to, in a bowl, take 3 egg whites and go ahead and separate those. And with the egg whites, we're actually gonna use that to marinate the steak. And we're adding some cornstarch in there as well. So this is a really like kind of long recipe. This is kind of time consuming. So if you do want to follow and recreate this, I'll leave the recipe that I was copying in the description box for you guys. So mixing that together, and then I'm going to put the steak in there and let that soak together. And we're actually going to let that marinate for 30 minutes. So I'm going to put a plastic wrap and just set it into the fridge for now. And for the Beijing beef sauce, we're doing some water and sugar with ketchup, and then hoisin sauce. We're also adding soy sauce in there, along with the apple cider vinegar, the sweet chili sauce, the oyster sauce. What else am I missing? The crushed red peppers. And that's basically it. So we're going to mix that around, and this is our Beijing beef sauce that we'll use later. So we'll put that off to the side. So once the meat is done marinating, we're going to put it into another bowl that has more cornstarch. So lots of cornstarch here. So we're going to just transfer those and then evenly coat that cornstarch all over the like the meat. And then we're ready to go and fry these babies up. So we're coating them in cornstarch one more time before they go into the oil. So we're just going to deep fry these. So you're just going to cook those until it's nice and crispy, and then set that off to the side as we finish up the rest of our ingredients. So for the veggies, we have some bell pepper that we're going to chop up, and then we're also adding some onions. And now we're going to saute that with some oil in a pan. And we're going to put all the onions in there and then the bell peppers as well. Cook that for a little bit, and then we'll add the beef. So I kind of messed up here because when I cooked it this way, I added the beef and then I added the Beijing beef sauce right on top. And by cooking it this way, it lost the crunchiness. And so what I would recommend, like if I try this again, is to cook the sauce in a different pan and let that thicken up on its own before adding it in with the meat. So that way you're not like soaking the meat in that sauce and letting it get kind of soggy, if that makes sense. But Johnny still really liked it, and that was it for his dinner, and that is everything that I cooked today. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure you let me know in the comments and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.